Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Hip Kit Club, working with the November 2021 kit, and it's Mixed Media Monday today, so I'm going to be using the colour kit that we get this month to add some colour to my background. So I've done a little bit of prep work off camera. I've cut some hexagons from a few of the patterned papers, trying to match up colours that appear in my photo. And I've also done some hand stitching around the edge of these. I've left a little border because I want to turn the edges up slightly just to create a bit of texture on the page. And I've used a silver metallic thread for the hand stitching. And that's because my design team prompts today are to scrap about our Christmas traditions and the countdown to Christmas, and also to add a bit of sparkle. And my silver metallic thread is really sparkly, so that's why I've picked that to do my hand stitching. And also a lot of the die cuts that we get in the kits this month have some silver elements, some silver foiling, so the silver works really well with those. So I've got those, I've done two different sizes of hexagons, and then I've done my photo slightly larger, and I'm just going to have them arranged kind of more to the right of my page. Now in my photo it is the three of us in our Christmas PJs. Every year I make us all dress up in matching PJs and stand in front of the tree and have loads of family photos. It's become a tradition of ours since my son was born. My husband hates it, but he tolerates it for 1 hour a year. And we've all got the same pyjamas, and I had to buy them for my son in about 8 different sizes. So he's got them all the way from 12 to 18 months, all the way up to 10 to 11 years at the moment. I think by that point he might be slightly fed up of doing it, so we'll see. We might have to buy some more pyjamas when he gets a bit older. But every year I pull out our pyjamas and we get them on. So I've mounted my photo onto one of the cardstocks from the kit, and I've pulled out the kind of mustard yellow colour, and that's to go with the collars on our pyjamas. They've got like jester collars with little sort of mustard yellow balls on. So I've matched that up with that. And then I just placed all my hexagons onto my background where I wanted them, drew a faint pencil line around, and now I'm using the colour kit to add some colour to my background. And I'm doing it dry with some blending brushes. I don't want to get too messy for this. I'm not really going to add any water. I'm just going to use the colours, the ink pads and my brushes. So we get 3 ink pads this month by Catherine Paula Designs. They're called Polished, Seafoam and Hot Tub, and I've used all 3 of them, and I've tried to spread the colour so that the red sits behind the green hexagon and the green ink sits behind the red hexagon, just for a bit of contrast. And then I've used that Hot Tub ink in just sort of neutral areas. And now I've pulled out the stencil that we got in the October kit. It's just some kind of festive leaves, and I'm doing tone on tone colour with the same ink pads, and just adding some of that stencil detail on top of my blended ink, just to give it a bit more depth and a bit more interest. So I love how this is looking already. I think the pattern papers in this collection are just stunning, and I've really enjoyed working with them. The whole kit this month is exclusive again, which makes me really happy because I love Hip Kit exclusives. I think they are fantastic, and you get so much in all the kits. So you're never short on stuff. Like, there is so much I could use to embellish this layout, and I do throw quite a bit at it for me. I do have to kind of restrain myself and try and stop myself from putting too much on the page. But I get these hexagons in place with some craft foam behind some of them, just to bring in a bit of dimension. Helps my photo to kind of sit off the background, which draws your eye to it when you're casting your eye over the page. So I've got all of those in place now. I've got most of my mixed media done. I am going to add a bit more towards the end, but for now the bulk of it is done. So I'm going to get to working on the fun part of embellishing. So I've pulled out the die cut pack here that we get in the main kit this month. I've added a couple of trees over to the right hand side. I think I'd bring in another one to the left there. We're standing in front of our Christmas tree, so those worked really well for me. I've also got this little train, has absolutely no bearing on my photo whatsoever, but I love it, and my son loves trains, and it's got loads of presents and a tree on the back, so it worked really well. So I'm going to have that coming down from the bottom of my layout there, and it kind of helps to extend the layout over to the left a bit. And then I've got those gorgeous baubles. I absolutely love these, and they have got, I mean, all of these die cuts really have got silver foiling detail on them, so they are perfect for bringing a bit more sparkle to my page. So I've got 3 of those baubles, and I'm gonna tie some embroidery thread to those as well to have them kind of dangling from my page. Now I flirt with the idea of using some of the floral die cuts from, I think they come in the embellishment kit this month, but I decided I didn't really need them because I've pulled out so much from the main kit die cut pack. I didn't want to overcrowd the design too much, so I left the florals off. But I did pull out the vellum numbers from the main kit, and these photos were taken on Christmas Eve, so I've pulled out 24. And you get several of each colour, which I absolutely love about these. So I've gone for a red 2 and a green 4, and I've placed them on the hexagon down the bottom there to act as my title. That hexagon's got a white background with some holly design on it, so it was quite neutral, so I could stick those numbers on top of that and they weren't gonna get lost, so they still show quite well. And now I've got all of those bits in place, I'm gonna go ahead and commit and get things stuck down. And I'm using double-sided tape and foam pads for that, and generally putting the tape along the bottom and the foam pads at the top just to introduce a bit of dimension, and just makes things look a bit more realistic for me if they're coming off the page, a bit more 3D and not so flat. I absolutely love how this layout is coming together. I'm really happy with how it's looking. I've got a little tab there that says family that I stuck on top of my Christmas trees. I've got those vellum numbers stuck down with, oh, sorry, they're not vellum, they're acetate, excuse me, acetate numbers. They're stuck down with just some quick dry tacky glue. I was a bit worried about that showing through them, but actually as soon as it's dried, the glue's gone completely invisible, so you can't see it at all, which is really good. And I've decided I want to have my baubles dangling with some eyelets. So I've pulled out my crocodile and I marked where I wanted my eyelets to sit, but the machine itself doesn't quite go in as far as I wanted. So I've had to have them higher on the page than I would have liked, but there was no other way really around doing that. My crocodile just doesn't extend far enough. So I've placed them at the top, and I've used eyelets that coordinate with the baubles. So I've got a red, a yellow and a green, and I've kind of mixed them up. So the yellow bauble is hanging by a red eyelet, the red bauble by a green eyelet, and then the green bauble by the yellow eyelet. So just mixing those colours up a little bit. And then I'm going to bring in some white embroidery thread here and tie it through the top. I'm going to make a little hole in each of the baubles, and then I'm going to thread that embroidery floss through and then adhere that on the back of the bauble and the back of the layout, so it looks like those are dangling down on the page. I tried tying a bow in the first one just to see how that would look, but really wasn't keen, so in the end I just push it through and then adhere the thread to the back. So I've got those all in place now, and I've stuck the baubles down with some foam just to raise them up from my background. I've also added one of the circular chipboard flare from the Pocket Life kit that's got the 24th of December written on it. And now I'm going to work on adding a bit more sparkle. So I've pulled out the stamp set that we get this month, and also the embossing powder from the colour kit. It's by Ranger and it's called Silver Tinsel. So I'm using one of the smaller kind of star shapes, like a Christmas star shaped stamp, and I'm colouring it in with an embossing pen, stamping it down onto my background, and I'm adding that embossing powder on top. and then just shaking off the excess and returning that back to the pot. And then once my heat gun has warmed up, I'm just kind of melting that or setting that powder, and it's really mesmerising to watch. If you've never used embossing powders before, highly recommend it. Quite therapeutic actually. Might make me a bit odd, but I love watching that powder melt, and that's left a lovely silver sparkle on those stars. So I added 3 of those. Then I've pulled out those silver metallic stars we get in the Pocket Life kit. I've added a few of those around the page. And then the enamel dots that we get in the main kit, and I absolutely love these. They are silver glitter enamel dots, and they're just perfect for adding a bit more sparkle. So I'm adding a scattering of those around the outside of my layout, all around my hexagons. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit more sparkle, using some of the little stars from the chipboard frame set from the embellishment kit. These are like white chipboard with silver stars on, so they add a bit more sparkle to my background. So I'm not far off being done now. I've pulled out the chipboard stickers from the main kit, and I'm just adding a couple of those. I tried to add another one that said the 24th of December, but I just thought it was 1/24 too many, so it put that one back. But I have added a sticker that says the night before Christmas. And then I've pulled out the puffy stickers that we get in the embellishment kit, and I absolutely love these. A whole sheet of mini puffy stickers. That's one of my favourite things to use, puffy stickers. So I've added 2 of those, one that says Our Traditions and another that says Santa's Coming. And then I'm going to bring in one of these fabric bows as well, and these are another of my favourite Hip Kit exclusive products, and it's one of the things that before I was able to get the kits, I've always admired these bows, and when I joined the team I was so excited that I would now be able to get the Hip Kit exclusive fabric bows. So I think I've used them on all my layouts so far this month, but I'm adding one and I'm mixing the greens and reds. And I've added 3 sections, and I've used red tape to stick those together because that holds it pretty firmly. And I've popped that in place under my photo. Now I'm just turning up the edges of my hexagon. So when I did my stitching, I left a little bit of a border to enable me to turn those edges up. So I've done all the kind of visible edges. And now I'm just adding a little bit more sparkle. I think this is my last bit of sparkle now. You can never have too much sparkle. This is just a Distress spray stain. It's a Tim Holtz one, I think. And I'm just adding some silver splatters. It's a metallic paint. So I've just added some splatters and little kind of dots all over the background. And what I also do, I think I do it off camera. I've turned my camera off and then decide to do it. I'm just going to use the 3 ink pads we get this month to add some tone-on-tone splatters to my background. And I noticed when I went to take photos of my layout, I've got green splatters all over our faces. So I will have to reprint my photo and just stick that on top of this one to cover the green splatters. We look a bit like aliens now. But hey ho, those things kind of happen, especially when you've got paintbrushes and splatters. They just go everywhere sometimes. So I will swap that out. But that is my layout finished for today, documenting our countdown to Christmas and our family tradition of photos in front of the tree in our Christmas Eve PJs. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this layout and it's given you some inspiration using your November kits. Like I said, all the kits are exclusive Hip Kit products this month, so it's a fantastic kit. I'll leave a link in the description box below for you if you'd like to check it out on the website. And remember, if you are a Hips Hit subscriber, you get a discount on your main kit. You also get a discount on add-on kits and free postage. You also get exclusive access to subscriber cut files, so lots of good reasons to be a Hip Kit subscriber. But I'll leave some links in the description box below for you that will take you to the website, and also the Facebook group, the Hip Kit Club Facebook group. If you're not already a member, do head on over and join. But for now, thanks again for joining me. I will leave you with the rest of the close-ups, and I'll see you next time.